Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Mistonia's Hope, continuing Edward's route, and we're at the almshouse, going to visit. So, anyway, upon arriving at the almshouse, Edward declined the offer to enter the building and requested the director be called. Edward explained it to me, perhaps sensing my curiosity about why he wouldn't go inside. I mean, they were like, we didn't draw a background for inside, so we have to stay outside. Some of the children may feel intimidated if I enter. It's not rare for them to be scared or shy away just because I'm a noble. I see. Something occurred to me. Do you come here often, Lord Edward? I'd assumed you left such visits to your staff. Mm-hmm. I've been busy with preparations for the exhibition, so I haven't been able to come lately, but I used to visit quite often. The thing is, it all started with... Just as Edward was about to explain, a woman who seemed to be a nun came out of the building. Almshouses were often connected to monasteries, and from the way she approached, she was probably the director. Hold on, there we go. It's been quite some time, Lord Edward. Please do come inside instead of standing out here. It's been a while, Director. I'm just here today to ask a few questions. Don't mind me. Besides, it's probably better for everyone if I don't go inside. Edward gave a restrained smile. The director nodded after a moment of consideration. Oh, yes. I remember you saying that. By the way, may I ask about the young lady? I greeted the nun with a smile, making sure to be polite. She watched me thoughtfully. My name is Space. I'm employed at the Bernstein estate and am assisting Lord Edward. I regard her as a trusted partner, though her position of that of... Oh, through her position of... Though, well, no. No, it is though. Okay, I can't read right now. My brain was also trying to focus because I thought the music was getting janky for a second, because this has not been a good day for recording. I regard her as a trusted partner, though her position is that of a servant in her household. She's an incredibly dependable woman. Partner? Dependable? His affectionate tone made my heart beat loudly. Feeling a bit lost, I noticed the nun glancing between us, smiling. Even that greeting made it evident that she's a lady of fine character. It's clear how deeply you trust her. So what is it that you wish to inquire about? I hope I'm able to provide an answer. Edward adjusted his expression at the nun's gentle question. I heard a rumor that some children have gone missing from the almshouse. I'd like to know if these rumors are true, regardless of whether they're children under my protection or not. I must admit I never expected such a rumor to reach you, Lord Edward. Children do indeed disappear from time to time. However, it isn't something that should be described as disappearances. What do you mean when you say it's different from a disappearance? The director paused, confused. However, she gathered her thoughts and resumed not too long afterward. I suppose it was premature of me to draw such a conclusion. I'm starting to feel that leaving the decision in Lord Edward's hands is best. Then, may I ask why this information hasn't reached me until now? Edward's question, asked with a sense of pure curiosity rather than accusation, caused no delay in the director's response. I figured she was going to be like, yeah, they don't really disappear, they just decide to leave, because we're not keeping them here. This is a good place for them to stay. It's like an orphanage. They can stay here and they have a place, but some kids just want to leave and we're not keeping them prisoner, you know? Many children come to the almshouse. There are always one or two who find life here unsuitable and leave, though. Like that, you know? Burdening you with such news seemed wrong, considering how much kindness you've shown to us. And that's why I haven't mentioned it. Plus, again, it's not like, oh, they come, they stay, they never go anywhere. It's like they come, they stay, some of them decide to leave, and we're not imprisoning them, so if they leave, they leave. You know what I mean? And, if that's something that they're used to happening, they don't think there's anything weird about it, you know? Edward's expression clouded slightly as he listened. He had said earlier that children often shied away from him just because he was a noble. And again, now if you have a child in an orphanage and they disappear, oh my god, wait a minute. But, in the time period we're dealing with and in the area that we're in, it's children are living on the street. So he is like, hey, why don't you go here where they can take care of you and you have food and shelter and clothing and like, you know, it's a place to be taken care of instead of living in a cardboard box on the street, kids. Hey, but like, you know what I mean? Some of the like kids will be like, no, I can't handle that. You know what I mean? So again, they're not prisoners here. It's kind of different than the way we deal with children where you put them in a facility where to be like taken care of and be like, you are not allowed to fucking run away and leave. You don't just choose to run off because you know what I mean? Like, but here it's like, whatever. Which is kind of fucked up, but I mean, like, they ain't our kids. But at the same time, it's like, they're taking a little blasé kind of approach to children just on the streets. They're like, well, hey kids, you want to go stay somewhere nice and warm? And then if the kid's like, you know what, I think I'm going to go stay out on the street, they're like, oh well, we tried. They're not cats. I mean, to be fair, I feel like cats should be in shelters too, not on the streets, but like, there's a difference between a feral cat and a feral child. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, the cat can probably defend itself and take care of itself. You know, even if it's sad that there's this poor cat living out on the streets and terrorizing birds and other neighborhood animals and things like that. But a feral child is like, holy shit, there's something wrong here. You know? You know what I mean? Like, so the fact that they're just letting kids wander around, nobody's taking care of them. I mean, that's what we're assuming. We're assuming they don't have families because otherwise you'd be like, you're just snatching kids off the street and stuffing them in your almshouse. That's a whole other problem, but you know. But I mean, it's just the world that we live in here in this scenario is like the children are not forced to stay here. So it's not really I mean, maybe they are disappearing. I'm sure they are actually disappearing, but to the nun, it's like, oh, they're, you know, some kids sometimes just choose to leave and they don't have to announce their departure. It's not an airport, you know, type of a thing. So they're not thinking it's anything odd when it probably is, to be fair. So maybe it's the same with the director as well. I'm not sure there are any bad intentions, of course. Class awareness was deep-seated in Grand Albion. Unconscious walls formed in people's hearts within each social class. Though it was something beyond anyone's control, his expression suggested he wasn't the type to brush it off as inevitable. I'm grateful for your consideration. However, what I seek now is the truth. Have any children gone missing recently? Edward didn't show any signs of disappointment in the director and continued with his question. The director didn't seem to notice the subtle change in his expression. Her demeanor remained the same. A boy went missing 3 days ago. From what I heard, he had a fight the day before and said he was going to leave. Our staff conducted a search of the surrounding area after he disappeared, but they couldn't find him in the end. We had concluded that, like the others, he had likely left of his own and had no intention of returning. I see. Would it be possible to hear more details about this matter? For instance, if there happens to be someone who is friends with the missing child, I'd very much like to hear what they have to say. The director nodded at once, as if Edward's words had brought a particular child to mind. If that's the case, there is a child from Eden who came in at almost the same time. I'll go get them. Edward let out a soft sigh as the director disappeared into the building. Being a noble grants certain privileges, but it holds me back just as often. It's so frustrating. He bit his lip and looked down, looking nothing like the refined noble he usually was. Standing before me was a struggling young man burdened by his own position. Life seems really difficult for him. Most nobles treat their status as a weapon, but he grieves over it instead. He's an unusual one. Yeah, but that's what we like about our little sunshine, huh? I remembered the conversation we had in the tree and found myself offering Edward words of comfort. Only you can handle us. Yeah, don't worry about it. I feel like only you can handle this. Like, you're the only one capable and strong enough for this. Not like, don't worry about it. Don't worry, man. It's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get the sentiment behind, don't worry. But, like, it's kind of like when people are like, well, don't stress out. Calm down. Never in the history of that has ever been helpful. You know what I mean? If I am, like, stressed out, telling me, like, well, don't stress about it. Yeah, like, that's going to help. Oh, okay. I didn't think of that. Don't be depressed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling depressed. Well, just don't be. Oh. Never even thought of that. Like, it's not just some chemical imbalance in your brain. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you're just stressed. Don't be stressed. I am existing in this timeline. Therefore, I'm fucking stressed. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, there's ways to kind of like alleviate that, but just telling people don't worry. Oh, he's gonna fucking worry. So I feel like that's not it. It's got to be only you can handle this, because then that's like showing like, I have faith in you, Edward. Oh, you know. Yeah, only you can handle this. Okay, listen. I know how to talk to our sunshine for now. Even so, I believe this is something only you can handle, my lord. I feel as if the director was willing to speak with us because of your influence. So, Edward's blue eyes stared at me in surprise, and I quickly regained my focus. Yeah, us having blonde hair and blue eyes and him being blonde hair and blue eyes. I mean, like, what the fuck? Wait a minute. What? We have dark hair right now, but she's got blonde hair, and when in the reality, it's like, no, I don't think he's my sibling. I'm just over here, like, questioning the whiteness, is all I'm saying. Like, you all a little too motherfucking Aryan, okay? Back it up a little. Somebody should have brown hair here. What am I saying? I want to get closer to him for my goals, but I don't need to be comforting him. It's unnecessary. But taking back what I just said would have been too weird, so I just went on. I thought that if you stayed true to who you are without thinking about your noble status too much, then your feelings would surely be understood. I felt like I'd said something embarrassing and trailed off, lowering my head, but a cheerful laugh came from above me. You're quite an interesting one, Space. You've probably got a pretty good idea of who I am, considering you're a servant of House Bernstein. I've never met someone like you before, a one-of-a-kind lady who just sees me as Edward. That's because I plan on using you. I haven't really thought too much about you. That's a load of bullshit. I mean, because I plan on using you, yes. I haven't thought too much about you. Lies! Liza Minnelli! Now that I thought about it, the mindset I'd had when I first came to the estate no longer matched who I was. Maybe Edward's right. Maybe I'm treating us as equals. If that were true, I'd like to know why my feelings had changed. Because he's beautiful? I lifted my face and our gazes met. My heart fluttered softly as his blue eyes watched me. I'm deeply sorry. You're the next head of House Bernstein, someone I should be showing my respect to. I didn't understand my own feelings, so I just went ahead and apologized like a maid would. However, Edward tilted his head in confusion and leaned in to look me in the face. I was pleased. There's no need to apologize. The only people who talk to me as equals are Lynn and Phil. I couldn't be more pleased if you were to join them. I'd appreciate it if we could continue talking to each other as equals. But how can he say something so direct without embarrassment? Is he like this with everyone, or is it... It almost seemed like there was some special emotion hidden in his clear blue eyes. Even if my mind was only playing tricks on me, I still couldn't endure that gaze. It disturbed me. I gave in, silently telling myself this was the last time it would happen, yet there's some emotion hidden in there. Passion. He's into you. We know. We already know. He was ready to fucking beat the goddamn shit out of Linus. He was like, I'll fucking beat you and take her out of this goddamn house. We know. We saw it. Being a little overprotective. I'll make an effort if you insist, my lord, but I would prefer to hold back in front of Mr. Nicholas. Edward chuckled at my candid remark, looking quite amused. That's something we should be careful about. I'll make sure I'm more mindful of how I treat you when Nick is around, too. By the way, you mentioned you used to come here often. What was the reason? I decided to change the topic, feeling like I might say something I didn't intend. Edward seemed to remember something. Yes, we got sidetracked there. This place is a facility my brother-in-law had been helping to support, you see. By brother-in-law, do you mean her ladyship's... Yes, her late husband. I had a lot of respect for him. In fact, I still do. See, they keep painting him as if he wasn't a psychopath, you know, who tried to murder suicide. I mean, okay, like that was what we got presented with first. And now we're like, oh yeah, no, I really respected him. He seemed really nice. And she was obsessed with him. And it's like, so like I'm starting to feel like, I mean, I wasn't starting to feel, I think we've known that Lily seems sus as fuck for a while now. But I feel like more and more, it feels like, I feel like more and more it feels like, yeah, well, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Lily is super motherfucking sus. Again, she's always been sus. But I'm more suspicious of her than I am about her husband and the murder-suicide thing. I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of painting this picture like he seemed like a nice, decent human being. And you're like, okay, what do you think caused him to, like, want to stab your sister? Huh. It just doesn't sound like someone that's going to get stabby. Now, to be fair, how many love interests have we had? Okay, no. Usually when they get stabby, we see it coming. We're like, oh, this motherfucker's going to get stabby, Or something. Or you're like, oh, ho, ho. Or I guess some of them hide it well, you know. So maybe he's one that was hiding it well, but like he's a side character. So I don't think they go in that route. Like, oh, he always seemed really nice. He hid his stabby well. And you're like, yeah, no, they save that for main love interests, not for random side characters who don't even have a sprite. So, Edward would be the stabby one in this game because you're like, look, he's so oh, cage and stabbing. Okay, 2-for-1 deal. Great. So I highly doubt Lily's husband's like that. So I'm waiting to find out that she drove him insane and she tried to murder suicide and then made it look like he did it so that she could get, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't, if the game turns out and is like, actually Lily was the murder suicide one, I'm not gonna, okay, yes, we're gonna be like, oh my God, no way. You know what I mean? We're gonna fake gasp and pretend we didn't see that one coming, but I would not be surprised. I honestly would be surprised if he was actually just a crazy person and she did not have any hand in making him crazy. You know what I mean? I'd be more surprised about that. So, anyway. He came from a middle-class background, but he embodied the concept of noblesse oblige far more than I ever could. A noblesse oblige? Listen, I can't every time they say that. Look, like, don't give me fancy words, okay? I ain't fancy. I'm like Cheez-Its. Okay, I mean, I guess that's fancy because I'm not like Cheese Nips, which are like the knockoff ones or like the store brand. Only the real Cheez-Its. So I guess that's... I don't think fancy people are eating Cheez-Its, though. But anyway, whatever. Now I want Cheez-Its. You're welcome. Watching him devote himself to the vulnerable and offer his support made me want to do the same. So Edward bears no ill will toward Lily's husband, Daniel, the very man who tried to kill his sister alongside himself. I wanted to ask how he truly felt about this, but it seemed too soon. I brought up something else instead. So that's why her ladyship has been donating books to the almshouse. Our late husband dedicated himself to such causes. Wait, she does? You didn't know? Hold on. Oh, music is janky as fuck. Great. Okay. It's going to be one of those motherfucking days. And I hope everything is in time. Like, my voice as I'm recording and I'm reading and everything is not off. Because this fucking thing... did this on our other thing that I recorded this week for our other game. Today. I had to put it in like 3 different fucking pieces because the music kept getting janky. But if I turn on the other options, they either don't record sound or one of them you click it on and it totally just crashes my computer. Your computer ran into it, and I'm like twice now, and I'm like, okay. And the other one that actually will have sound with it when I talk, if I'm like clicking and doing something, it's like I say something and then my voice comes and then it records my voice. And I'm like, it's off. And I'm like, to get the sound from the game, you can't record my microphone track on time. So, and now I just don't know that it's recording anything appropriate. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I hate this thing so fucking much. And there are days where the other one works fine and it's insane. But it's like, I can't fucking deal with this bullshit anymore. So, yeah, I know. It's on me because I need to get a new recording software because this is complete and utter motherfucking garbage. And I paid for this shit, but it is so fucking trash. And I can't deal with it anymore. I can't deal with having to stop every 5 minutes because the music is janky and then my voice is not being recorded properly because it's like recording me like 2 seconds after I speak and then everything's not right, or then we just don't, and it's like, or we don't have sound at all, and it's like, oh my motherfucking god. Or it crashes my computer because I try to select one of the options for the game capture and then it just crashes my computer. Like, what the actual fuck? But like, this is where we are today, and I don't have the patience or the tolerance for this anymore, but so we're gonna have to try to get some new fucking I'm gonna have to try to figure out a new program now. Hopefully, like, I didn't like OBS when I first tried it, when I was trying to figure it out, but you know what I mean? Like, maybe I was just an idiot at the time because it was like I didn't have any software or anything at the time, and like, you know what I mean? So maybe we just need to like try. I just want something. This should be fucking stupidly simple. Here's my capture card. Here's the audio in. Here's my microphone. Cool, just record it. But no, we can't be that. No, everything's got to be fucking ridiculous on this thing. It's like, what the fuck? Because it doesn't work right. Anyway, talking about Lily dropping off books. Anyway, you didn't know. I was taken aback at Edward's wide-eyed surprise. The vague, unsettling emotions toward Lily stirred within me once again. Yeah. My sister was never dedicated to charity, and not even when my brother-in-law was alive. That didn't change after he passed. Did she have a change of heart? I have no idea what might have triggered it, though. Even Edward doesn't know the reason. What is she really after? An uneasy silence filled the air. The director returned, bringing a young girl with her. My apologies for the wait. This is Hannah. She was close to Ollie, the boy who went missing. The girl named Hannah was plainly nervous. Her expression suggested she was frightened by something. I don't think it's because Edward is a noble. The girl pulled away from the director's hand on her shoulder and stepped back toward the building. She didn't seem ready to speak. Edward seemed to think the same as I did. Director, I think it's time for me to leave. Would it be all right if I visited again? Sorry, were you peeping? Was it because I was smacking? It's you was making weird noises. Certainly. Hannah, please make sure to speak with Lord Edward when he comes again. You don't have to push yourself, but I'd love to see you again next time I come by. The girl kept her face turned away, even when Edward kneeled to meet her eye. She's so terrified. I wonder if she knows what's happened to the boy. I left the almshouse with Edward, unsettling thoughts on my mind. Yeah, and then when Hannah's gone, what the fuck? I'm just saying. When we got back to the Bernstein mansion, the first thing I saw when I opened the door was Alfred's back. Oh, you're back. How's the repair work coming? Edward spoke to Alfred cheerfully, then cut himself off, which struck me as odd. But when I stepped into the entrance hall, I understood. Edmund. The entrance hall was thick with tension, and I found myself tensing up as well, unable to avoid the heavy atmosphere. He ain't got his eyes open. He disappointed as fuck. I can't show any weakness in front of him, but this was a rare chance to witness Edmund and Edward's father and son relationship right before my eyes. Can we just stab Edmund right now? Save us some trouble? I waited, eager to see what kind of conversation they would have. Edmund broke the silence. Edward, Lord Alfred has just informed me of your actions in Eden. Why are you acting on your own? Embodying the essence of noblesse oblige. Whatever, I can't say that and they keep fucking saying anyway. Is admirable, but it's pointless if the Bernstein name doesn't come into play. Moreover, I've heard that you've frequently been spending time with a servant here. And I'm just gonna, like, scoot. I'll go around the back. I'll go in the back door. Sneaks out. You're not seriously considering the absurd idea of erasing the barriers between classes, are you? He turned his gaze on me. The coldness in his eyes sent a brief shiver down my spine. It's going to be so fun when we get to stab this motherfucker. Can we at least stab him? We don't need him. I'm just saying, let me stab a bitch. This game is all about me getting revenge, and I just want my vengeance, and I want to do it on Edmund because he's such a twat. And the queen. But like, you know, but the thing is like, we don't even get that. Because Oberon pops up and is like, no, I'm going to take my wife back, whatever. And I don't get to stab anybody. Let me stab Edmund. No one will miss him. I don't give a fuck if Lily misses him. She's a psycho too. We might get to stab her. But like, Edward doesn't deserve this shit. Leave our little sunshine alone. Don't roll up and slap this top hat right off his head. You can keep the top hat when we're done, though, Edward, because it's a good top hat. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like a man and I like a top hat, okay? But, like, Edmund is a twat. Okay? Edward stood in front of me protectively, confronting his father. He retorted with an unwavering resolve. Indeed I am, father. I believe that everyone in this country should be treated as equals. It's time we put an end to the age of building the nation by sacrificing others. High five for that. Nonsense! It's through the division of classes that order is preserved. I'm gonna stab a bitch. Can we stab a bitch? Let's stab a bitch! He's the rich we're gonna eat, right? Grand Albion has long established peace in this manner, and it should remain so both in the present and in the future. Yeah, peace. The people on the bottom are like, everything is really peaceful being poor and not being able to afford anything. I had bread last week. Amazing. Fuck you, home slice. Everybody grab your knives. We're gonna get some slices of this home slice. You know? No, yeah. Seriously. What the fuck? Their views are complete opposites. They may never understand one another if this is the result of their innate personalities. I thought Edward would give up after being told that, but the next moment he said something unexpected. Why are you rejecting this so hard? Was it not you who taught me that leaders must look ahead, father? I've embraced your teachings, thought about the future of this country, and come to a conclusion. The past should not hold us captive. Alfred's over there like, I'm gonna recruit this motherfucker. You know he is. He's like, I want to watch Edmund burn too. The past, which has already happened, cannot be undone. Isn't that why we should carve out a different future? A tomorrow of our own making? He's so mad. Look at you, made my little sunshine mad. And he's like kind of hot when he's mad. Did Edmund's expression change? Is he flustered? No, it's more like he's surprised. Him? Who's always so composed? He didn't think precious little sunshine was going to talk the fuck back to him. I'll show you my hand, Dad, the back of it, as I slap it across your face. Touché, sir. I didn't use that right, but whatever. Take off your gloves. You're not wearing gloves. Well, I don't have gloves to slap you across the face with and demand a duel, so just backhand him. Edmund's expression returned to one of anger and frustration an instant later. There's no point in discussing this any further. Let's go, Nicholas. So Nicholas is here. The competent butler, who had been standing quietly by Edmund's side, only revealed his presence after being called. He was hiding behind something. He's like, I don't want to be here. Understood, my lord. Edmund paid no attention to Edward as he brushed past and moved to the door, Nicholas trailing behind him like a shadow. It appeared to me as if things were utterly hopeless, and yet Edward still called out, his voice filled with sorrow. Why can't you understand, father? Father! Edward continued shouting at his father, who wouldn't turn around. His profile looked as though he was holding in his pain. I felt a pang in my chest, even though I had no connection to their dispute. Well, yeah, because you don't want your little sunshine to be sad. Look at him. It's just poor little baby. What? You didn't hear the birdies. I know you did. Did you actually? Well, that's true. You could probably hear them through the TV. It's not on very loud. Yeah. A few days after I witnessed the argument between father and son, I met up with John at a park for the first time in a while. Given how often I met with him as Alvin, being seen together wouldn't raise suspicion. Even so, I lowered my voice as we spoke. So, did you obtain information from the young Bernstein lord? Not yet. Sorry. Oh, sorry. But you spent quite a bit of time together in Eden. Surely you've grown at least a little closer, haven't you? Huh? I mean, yeah. I think we're closer now. John probably didn't mean anything by it, but I couldn't ignore the fact that his remark had thrown me off. I do think we've grown closer, but it's not like I was the one who took the first step. He literally stepped closer. Edward worked his way straight into my heart on his own before I even had the chance to act. I mean, every time I sensed my closed-off heart begin to open, it made me want to stop everything before I hit the point of no return. Lady. I fell silent. John looked at me concerned. That made me feel guilty somehow. Sorry, I got caught up in my thoughts. Actually, I saw Edward and Edmund arguing the other day. I quickly shifted the topic, not wanting my inner thoughts exposed, and gave John a brief summary of what had happened recently. Once the door closed behind Edmund, Edward began acting like himself again and quickly turned to Alfred. I'm sorry you had to see something so unpleasant. Besides, my father said some hurtful things to you, didn't he, Al? Besides, my father said something hurtful to you, didn't he, Al? Same difference, but not exactly the same. Edward gave him a concerned look. Alfred shrugged slightly. It wasn't anything serious. He just asked why House Cresswell was involved in something House Bernstein started. I told him I was just helping out, per his son's request. That was when you two came back. I see. My apologies for making you worry. So, how douchey is your father? Because, you're doing some, noble work, and he's like, it's pointless if people don't know our name is involved. They have to worship us for helping them. We only give $1 to the poor so we don't look like cunts. God. And if no one's... Wait. There was no cameras on me. Give me that $1 back. Oh my God. Here. Did you want $1? Oh, paparazzi. You know what I mean? That's not being a good person just because you're doing it for the camera. You know what I mean? But that's Edmund. So then he's being a twat to Alfred because he's like, oh, so you're out there because my son asked you. But it's like... But Edward, you should have been out there and not helping, and Alfred shouldn't have been there because now they're going to think he did it and it was all your idea and fuck other people. You're a cunt. You know what I mean? Okay. If you're doing something and you're going out there and spending your money and your effort and whatever, and some other asshole rolls up and is like, I did it all, and they did nothing and they're getting the credit, I understand you being like, yo, fuck that shit. I was not out here doing this for the fame and the fortune and somebody praising my name, but fuck that guy for taking credit when he did nothing. That's different. You know what I mean? But Alfred wasn't taking the credit. You know what I mean? He was like, I was helping. And Edmund's like, ew. Edward, it only looks good if you're standing there. And people are, seeing you. Don't do things if paparazzi's not around. God. You know what I mean? What a douche. I wasn't concerned. I was simply stating the facts. And that said, after hearing your conversation just now, I realized I needed to talk with you all the more. Oh, he's roping him in. Oh, you mean the whole thing about finding a chance to talk, right? How about we do it after this? I need to check in with you about how repairs are going either way. Sure, I don't mind. But can we actually go to the Cresswell townhouse instead? Certainly. Edward paused and looked at me. I'd been standing quietly behind him. I was hoping that you'd be able to hear about the repairs too. I can't exactly ask you to come all the way to the Cresswell townhouse, though, so I'll fill you in later. You should go back to your work at the estate for today. Understood. There was nothing I could do after he said that, so I bid goodbye to the two of them and left the entrance hall. That said, I did manage to pick up something from the conversation. I never thought the five houses were completely united, but it feels like Edward and Alfred are growing closer much, much faster. John's eyes widened in surprise when I finished recounting the event at the Bernstein mansion.
Well, it's unexpected. I had always assumed Ward was the closest to the young Bernstein lord. They were pretty friendly in Eton, weren't they?
I used to think that as well, and it's true, they are indeed close. But Linus is totally obedient to the Queen, while Edward seems to question her and the way this country is governed. Aren't you curious what Edward and Alfred are talking about?
Yes, I am. It might be worthwhile to see how those two plan to act from now on.
I nodded at John's words and brought up something else that had been bothering me. Also, I think we need to re-examine who from the five houses were in Elpbeek that night 8 years ago. After seeing how Edward acted, I've started thinking that not everyone was just following the Queen's orders without question. I wish I could ask Oberon what happened that night 8 years ago.
I asked the Fey King.
Huh? I felt a sudden shift in John's gray-purple eyes, as if they were filled with caution. A sense of unease lingered in my chest, and I blurted out the words that came to mind. After all, Oberon is... the Fey King? Oh, interesting. Just that weird little, the screen went a little, yellow and staticky, and she's like, Oberon is... After all, Oberon's the Fey King? Oberon is you! You're his vessel, John! I'm sorry, they look too much alike. The words that came out of my mouth sounded really unsure. Instead of questioning me, John just sighed deeply. FDI, okay? I'm sorry. That's curious. Interesting.
All right, I'll ask if I get the chance. If things get complicated, it's best to meet face to face rather than call that bird. The question is way past due, and the Fey King isn't exactly the type who'll give us the answer we're hoping for. Don't get your hopes up.
Have we ever seen John and Oberon together in the same place? I feel like we have, but... Well, besides, John wouldn't actually be Oberon because then he's trying to get the Queen back, and that's... But you could be his vessel the same way I'm her vessel. But see, I don't look like her. You know what I mean? I actually don't think I've ever compared our face to the Queen, and I don't think we look like the Queen. But John looks an awful lot like Oberon, and it's just... I'm saying. Got it. I'll continue to do my best to get information from Edward.
That might be the more reliable option. If Edward's planning to rebel against the Queen, the idea of him siding with us is starting to make more sense.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about, John. I'd had the thought after watching Edward recently. It was hard to say if I had definitive proof, though.
Is there a problem? I don't think my reasoning is off based on what we've discussed.
Yeah, that's true, but I'll share it with you later once I've figured more things out. Eventually, I steered the conversation in another direction, then parted from John. Several days passed. Edward, Linus, and I went to the almshouse together. The reason we were here, of course, was to hear what Hannah had to say. Oh, so we brought the noble she's kind of intimidated by, and the guard dog who will break her fucking kneecaps if she, says anything wrong. Okay. Well, I mean, he's not going to threaten the child, but I'm just saying. Linus, I don't know if Linus is the right person to bring here. So, Ed, what's your plan this time? Today I'm thinking of trying something that we can only do because Linus is here. Something can only be done because I'm here? I wonder what that is. Tim? Ronald? Go sit in the corner. Okay. This is not the first time they've had to sit in the corner, but I can't remember when it was, but they've been doing well. I feel like it was recently, though, because whatever parts have gone up at this point as I'm recording this, one of you guys made a comment we haven't yelled at Tim, the terrible. Tim hasn't been a terrible typist. He must be enjoying his job, right? Because the game's been so good. And I'm like, Tim did kind of fuck up, Tim and Ron. But I swear they have at least once. But like, here's the one other time. But like, they have been doing so well. I don't know if they've both been fired and replaced, or like, I don't know what's going on. But are you serious? The music again? Oh dear God, I can't handle it. But anyway, Tim and Ronald have done really well so far in this game. I think there's been like one or two other times that they have like forgotten a word, but it's been like, but I haven't had to yell at them and tell Tim to get fucked. It's just been like, go sit in the corner. And that's it, because we've been doing so well and the game's been going so well and it's so good that like, we're giving them like, I'm just saying, like, they get an A minus. Not an A plus, an A minus, but that's still pretty good. But you know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe an A, because like right now they've only missed a couple of things, and it's like, guys, but it hasn't been like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, where it's like every other sentence. Like, no, it's been like, hey, you know what? It's been like maybe 2-3 times the whole fucking game. So like, fair enough. Like that's astounding. So, round of applause for Tim and Ronald, guys. I would clap for them, but one hand is taken up by the bird. So, okay, hold on. Clap my shoulder. Golf clap for them, guys. All right, okay, there you go. But seriously, go sit in the corner, though, because you missed a word, but, whatever. Something that can only be done because I'm here? I wonder what that is. I've only heard that he's going to interact with a lot of children. I wonder what Edward has in mind. Oh, we're going to use Linus as a jungle gym. Got it. I had no idea what he was going to do, but Edward had asked me to bring snacks for the children. I was actually going to bake shortbread. What? You planned on baking it yourself? For children! Hey, those children will collapse if you give them your baked goods. Are you saying they'll faint from how touched they are? Children will die if you get them because they're so grateful. That's sweet of them. Like, she's so fucking dense when it comes to this. It is so funny. Oh, I love it. How optimistic can you be? I mean, I'd love to let you believe that, but if you want, I can do it. Well, you see, I'm just really, really in the mood to bake some shortbread today. And here's the worst part. She was like, they'll faint from being happy. And Evelyn's like, God, no. You're terrible at this. And we still don't get it. She still hasn't absorbed that. Like, because of that, I ended up bringing something Charlotte had made. Both their faces seemed a bit stiff, but, well, I have what he asked for, so I guess I won't worry about it. I barely had time to adjust the basket in my arms before the almshouse director came outside, a swarm of children in tow. I caught sight of Hannah among the children. I brought the children as requested, Lord Edward. Now, everyone, let's be on our best behavior. Thank you. We'll take it from here. Very well. Please take good care of them. The children chattered among themselves when the director went back inside, gently nudging one another with their elbows. They're nobles. Think they've been here for charity? Think they're here for charity or something? Hey, I'm not going to turn down freebies. This isn't exactly a warm welcome. I wonder how he plans on turning things around. I shot Edward a look. He smiled warmly at the children. Good afternoon. My name is Edward. I stop by here once in a while and have even brought a few children here myself, so I imagine some of you know who I am. Now, let me introduce my two friends here. Lynn, how about you introduce yourself first? Linus grinned his usual friendly smile at Edward's prompting and waved to the children. Then he spoke cheerfully. I'm Linus. Honestly, I haven't heard what we're going to do today. But I'm excited to be friends with all of you. Let's have a great time together. That's exactly why we brought you, because when you're going to go visit kids, it helps to bring a cute, adorable dog with you. Here you go. The name's Space. Nice to meet you. As the last one to step forward, I made sure to... I made sure to not make it too formal and gave only a small, brief bow. Edward spread his arms wide once he had all of the children's attention, almost like he was on stage. I'm hoping everyone has fun today, and for that I've prepared something special for you. Here's some bats, and you can go beat that rich guy over there. We should have brought your dad. That would have been better. So tell me, everyone, do you enjoy a good gamble? Her thoughts are mine. Sir? A gamble about in the grass? Are you using it, or are you talking about like we're actually gambling with children? I feel like one of those is wrong. The question caught me off guard before the children even had time to react. Linus, who stood beside me, gasped. His eyes widened in disbelief.
Huh? A gamble? I don't exactly hate it. What are we gambling on?
Edward gave a mischievous wink in reply to the scattered responses. No, Edward, we don't play Russian roulette with children. We're betting on who wins the fight. Linus and I will have a little showdown in front of you, so place your bets. Who do you think is going to win? Oh, now we're gambling on a fight. You're teaching them how to gamble on fights. You're going to have a duel. This is not I'm Edward, I know you mean well, but I'm not thinking your brain cells were firing on all cylinders with this. Like, Huh. What? I didn't hear anything about this. If that's how it is, a little heads up would have been nice, don't you think? The children hadn't yet snapped out of their surprise when Linus let out a yelp and clutched his head, acting as if the world were ending. The sight seemed to break the tension. Soon enough, soft giggles could be heard from the children. I thought we were literally just going to be like, go play tag and chase him around. Like a...
I guess he's not exactly full of confidence, huh? I'm going with him. Edward all the way. Me too!
Ouch, that's a bit harsh. Am I being written off here as a guaranteed loser? It's because you were making all that fuss, Lynn. Anyone who sees us would probably bet on me. You sure don't hold back, do you? This is an interesting way to win the children over. It's almost like the competition has already started. It's definitely an interesting way to win children over. Could have just played Monopoly or some shit. Maybe not. That makes you want to punch your grandma. But, like, I don't know. Like, not Scrabble. God, no. Ugh. I guess Monopoly is the best we got here, huh? The two men exchanged light banter as the children grew excited. Then Edward suddenly shifted his attention to me. Or we could have brought, like, jacks or balls for them to play. Yo-yos? I don't know anything but an actual fight with gambling for children. How about you? Who were you betting on? Me? Now I'm curious. Which one of us is it? And now they're fighting over me again. I hesitated for a moment, caught in the gazes of Edward's clear eyes and Linus's bright ones. Bet on Edward. Of course we're going to bet on Edward. Bet on Linus. I don't know why this is a choice. Why would we bet on Linus in Edward's route unless this is a save point and then we have where we get a bad ending? Hold on. No. What? Why would we do that? I have a feeling bet on Edward gets the affection up, and bet on Linus is just to keep us from being super high up in points, so we don't have to come back to this point. Bet on Linus, and like, you know what I mean? Because of the way the guides usually are, it's like, you know, the music is a little glitchy. We're just gonna have to fucking deal with it. I cannot stop and fucking start this again. We're just gonna have to fucking deal with it. It'll probably be like when I put it through Premiere, it'll probably fucking basically remove the music anyway, but like it's not as bad as it was, but like Jesus fucking Christ, I can't do this anymore. It's really fucking bad today. Today is just a fucking goddamn nightmare. But I'm gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes the Tome Kitten will go in and instead of giving you all the best options, it'll be like, okay, we have to get one that's not the best so that you don't have, like, too many high points, because then we'd have to do a save file here. and then go on further where, like, we'll have a save fire later to do one of the bad endings. So, because there's no way we're getting points with Edward for betting on Linus. Maybe I should pick Linus here. It can help liven things up. I gave my answer after pondering how to enhance this situation Edward had created. I'll bet on Lord Linus. Yeah, see, that's like negative points. We got points taken away. I think that's what the feather is other. I think, because that's what we get in the common route. It's like we're getting points, but not for the right person. Like, in this case. You're betting on me? Yeah! Linus's wide smile made Edward pout at me, though I wasn't sure if he was acting or not. I was sure you'd be cheering for me. What a letdown. And now I've got to win more than ever. Your feelings are written all over your face, Ed. You gotta be careful if you want to preserve that noble Edward Bernstein persona. But hey, maybe you're picking me really lit a spark in me. I can't lose, so I gotta give it my all. Is this the real Edward? I didn't realize he'd be this open with his emotions. It's gonna make him so jealous, and later he's gonna pin me against a wall. I'll be like, how dare you pick Linus? I was surprised to discover a new side of Edward. On a separate note, I found myself starting to enjoy the relaxed atmosphere between the three of us. I shouldn't be thinking about this right now. If they're fighting, even for fun, then I have to make sure I'm paying attention. I wanted to see Edward's skill with the sword. This was the perfect opportunity, and I steeled myself. Edward and Linus proceeded with their preparations for the contest, the children watching them intently. So, what weapon are we using? Honestly, I prefer if we fought with our bare hands. That won't do. I mean, even if you don't have a weapon, you still have claws, don't you? And that would give you too much of an advantage. So the weapon will be this. Edward pulled out a wooden branch about the size of a short sword. Seriously? This just makes it easier for you, Ed. I got no chance against you with a sword. Oh, come on. You've got more than enough skill to surpass my swordsmanship. And this isn't even a sword. It's shorter than what I normally use. Even I find it tricky to wield. Linus's main weapon is his claws, while Edward uses a longsword, likely the one he carries around. Edward's weapon is obvious, but what about Linus's claws? They look like they're normal length at first. I mean, she's saying claws like, you're like, what about his claws? His hands look normal. I think that's the way they should have translated it. Like, his hands look normal at first glance, not like his claws look normal length. Are you talking about his fingernails? Because, like, who calls them claws? The pair reached a conclusion as I processed the details of their weapons. Fine, I'll use this wooden branch as my weapon instead of my claws. In return, you'll have to use a shorter branch than mine. Does that seem fair? That's good enough for me.
Hey, you talked about a bet. What's in it for us if we win?
Once the two finished talking, one of the children called out. Edward pointed to the basket I was holding. If you win, I'll treat everyone to the shortbread she brought. It's really a masterpiece from our skilled kitchen maid. It's really delicious, so you can definitely expect something good. And make sure to cheer me on with everything you've got.
Woo! A noble feast! Don't worry, I'll be cheering you on!
Now you can't win, Linus.
I'm still getting that shortbread. Don't you dare lose!
Linus, you're gonna have to lose on purpose. I see, so that's why you wanted the snack ready. But what happens if he loses, though? The children all bet on Edward this time, but what would have happened if their bets had been divided? He would have given him the shortbread anyway. It seemed like Linus was wondering the same thing. He whispered so only we could hear. Listen, I'm taking this seriously. You know how boring it gets if we don't put our all into it. Sure, go all out. I won't go easy on you either. Confidence is good and all, but if you lose, does it mean that they won't get any shortbread? Not really. If I lose, I'll just ask for a rematch. I get it now. Oh, so he already has a plan in case he loses. Once I understood his plan, Edward gave Linus a serious look. I honestly don't know who'll win this match. You're strong, and I won't underestimate you. Linus sighed at Edward's straightforward words and glanced at the sky. That's it, all right. So open and honest. Even men would be charmed by you. That's Linus's code for kind of into you a little bit.
Well, since my childhood friend insists, I guess I have no choice but to play along. Let's make it a real fight, Ed.
Yes, let's. They shared a strong handshake and flashed each other confident smiles. Then they stepped back, their branches in hand. And with that, the battle began. Did we get a CG? Yes! Hey, but like Linus is in my CG of Edward. That seems unfair, but like, he's still beautiful. Look at him. Phew! Linus made the first move. He closed the gap with lightning speed and swung the branch at Edward before he could even catch his breath. So fast. In contrast, Edward barely managed to defend himself against Linus's rapid attacks. Linus looks slightly crazed in this.
No way you're giving up already, right, Ed?
No, not at all. Edward, who had been on the defensive, quickly turned the tables. He pushed back Linus's attack and knocked the branch out of his hand in one smooth motion. Guess that's the end of it. Actually, the music sounds fine now, so that's good.
Not yet. It's not over yet.
The branch soared into the air, about to fall, but Linus grabbed it mid-air with lightning-fast reflexes.
I'm safe as long as the branch doesn't hit the ground, right?
Yes, that's correct. I responded as the referee, and the battle continued. Impressive. Now it's my turn.
Ha! That's too intense. This branch is gonna break.
I won't misjudge my strength. Ha! Edward pressed down on the branch with his weight, then quickly pulled back as soon as he sensed he'd put enough of a strain on Linus. In one fluid motion, the branch swung and landed squarely on Linus's dominant hand. That was what I thought. Huh. Linus disappeared. Linus appeared to have been caught off guard, but he seized the small opening caused by Edward's retreat to adjust his position. His speed was so impressive that Linus had already shifted to his attack before he could even react. Ha! Linus's sharp kick struck Edward's side. Despite having a size advantage, Edward was sent flying with little effort. So we're like, Linus is dangerous, which we already knew because we've been down his route, but... Didn't I mention that we were using branches as weapons, Linus?
Yeah, and I'm using it just like you said. No claws involved either. But I never said I wouldn't use my feet, you know.
I see how it is. Well, it's not exactly cheating, but don't expect me to fall for that twice.
Yeah, I figured. Missing the chance to finish you stings. You managed to land without a hitch.
I didn't see a thing. I couldn't help but tighten my fist as I listened to their lighthearted banter. Both of them are so strong. I don't think I'd stand a chance against them, given my lack of physical strength. I do like, though, that this whole entire battle is literally just the CG, so this is nice. I should have felt threatened, knowing that I could end up fighting both of them one day, but she's like, I don't mind being in the middle of a sandwich. I only do just because Linus isn't my boy. I mean, his route was great, don't get me wrong, but, like, he's still too baby-faced for me, so, like... But, like... An Edward and anybody else sandwich? Sure. I mean, you know. Both of them are smiling, clearly enjoying the match from the bottom of their hearts. And to be fair to her, I mean, okay, she probably wouldn't give a crap about being in the middle of this man sandwich, so fair enough. My own mood brightened as I watched them beam those boyish smiles. Hi, boys. After a long exchange of strikes, the battle was nearing its final moment. This is it. Edward's swift strike cut through the moment. Linus's branch danced into the air once more. This time it hit the ground. Ooh, kids get shortbread. It's over. The winner is Lord Edward. The children erupted into cheers the moment the match ended.
Woo! Told you we'd win! Now cough up the shortbread!
Here we go! The children rushed toward me and I held out the basket. Hannah caught my eye, though. She didn't approach, but remained where she was. I guess she still doesn't trust me. Should I say something? I had just started walking toward Hannah when I saw the tree beside her swaying violently from the corner of my eye. A heavy branch broke loose and fell straight toward her, of course. Hannah! Watch out! Edward and I called out in unison. Linus rushed toward her, but I was nearest to Hannah. I lifted Hannah into my arms without a second thought and tumbled to the ground, using the momentum to roll away. The heavy branch crashed down, landing with a dull thud mere inches from us. Why the fuck was there a giant branch falling out of a fucking tree? It just so happened it was going to hit that kid. That seems sus as fuck, is all I'm saying. Someone was trying to take out Hannah. Are you okay? Space. Hannah, are you hurt?
Yes, I'm fine.
I'm all right, too. I carefully rose to my feet, holding the trembling Hannah close. Edward stared at me, however, his expression fairly serious. Don't be mad at me for saving a kid. You took quite a risk. I'm pretty sure that both Lynn and I could have reached Hannah before anything serious happened. You saw it in our match, didn't you? Lynn's quickness and my precise aim. Are you mad at me for outmanning you? Regardless of the situation, we could have knocked a branch down or changed its trajectory. So why did you throw yourself into helping Hannah? You could have gotten hurt too. It's like, why are you mad at me? Obviously, we know he's mad because he's like, if something had happened to you, I would have been devastated because you're in love with me. But like, sir, simmer the fuck down. What the hell? The blue eyes watching me wavered as if he were confused. His expression and tone made it clear that he was truly concerned for me. Why does he always wear his heart on his sleeve like this? For him to get so genuinely angry and worried for someone like me, a mere servant, it's odd. His open emotions made me realize how difficult it was becoming to hide my feelings. The words that slipped out next were my true feelings. My body just moved. If I see someone struggling, I just want to help. It's not about logic. It's just how I feel inside. I apologize for being reckless. I felt ashamed for making Edward worry. When I looked down, a hushed voice so faint it felt like a dream drifted to my ears. Noblesse oblige. There was something familiar about that voice. I lifted my head slowly and looked at Edward. What did you just say, if I may ask? Edward's eyes smiled slightly at my question, a trace of nostalgia in his gaze. Noblesse or noblesse, whatever. Strange. I don't think I truly understand those words until I met a girl like you. She was still so young and had the wrong idea about what those words really meant. She simply believed that helping someone in need was what it was all about. I'm just whatever. And truthfully, I prefer that version. That girl helped me once. It's a memory I've always cherished, and you've brought me back to who I used to be. I see. A faint tug stirred in the back of my mind, unsettling my heart. Just as I tried to chase it down, Hannah whimpered softly in my arms. Yes, because it's supposed to be us, but I still don't think that makes sense. And I want them to the way we met Linus makes absolute sense because he was looking for us and he found us. That girl that Edward remembers had brown hair. So even if we were in a disguise, why would our family take us out of Eltbeek where we were safe because this was 10 years ago, not 8 years. So we were in hiding. My family wasn't dead yet. But why would they do that? You know what I mean? I do feel like there was a time where she was talking and she said something about going to Rowan or whatever, or having been there in one of her memories, or did she say or was it just that she wanted to go there? I don't remember. And it feels like this is something she doesn't remember having happened, but it's like, it makes no sense why, if you're hiding, you'd be like, oh, well, we'll just use glamour and pretend it's not us. Really? I just think it's a bad idea to go to the city and be a foot away from the queen that's trying to kidnap your daughter and kill y'all. Just doesn't seem like the brightest thing to do, you know? So I'm really confused as to why they thought that was, but I mean, we'll get that answer. We'll get that answer on why our family was like, nah, it'll be fine. You ran away because it wasn't gonna be fine, so then you came back? Even with a wig on? I mean, I'm sure it was like fairy glamour, but still. You know what I mean? It just seems weird. Anyway. What is it? Are you hurt somewhere?
Will I be safe if I stay here? Can you help me?
Linus, Edward, and I shared a look, coming to a silent understanding. Seeing that Hannah seemed ready to talk, Linus and Edward gave her comforting smiles, their gazes steady and kind. Yeah, you're safe here, and we're here to help you. You can count on us. We have the necessary skills, so we'll make sure to keep you safe, no matter what happens. Their words held all the weight they needed after having seen that match earlier. Hannah hesitated, then spoke softly.
I was actually with Ollie when he left here the other day. The fog was so thick, and the moon wasn't even out. I was scared, so I told him we should turn back, but Ollie kept going on ahead, and then I heard a scream. It was probably Ollie's. I was so scared I ran away, alone. I left Ollie behind and came here.
That must have been so scary, but you're safe now. Thank you for telling us. My hand rested on Hannah's back, soothing her as she cried. I shared another look with Edward and Linus. A thick fog and a new moon. And that's a perfect night for criminals who want to go unnoticed. This might be the pattern for the days the wing hunts happen. We should look into it. The distant, cheerful sound of children arguing over shortbread reached our ears as we conversed. But the evening shadows closed in before long, almost as if they wanted to silence those voices. We'd finally found a clue. It should have been a beacon of hope, yet it wasn't. A night with a new moon, thick with fog. Edward's right. It's almost too perfect for wing hunting. It doesn't sit right with me. The ominousness, that's of those words cast a shadow on my heart, spreading slowly and inevitably like a stain. Can I just say, okay, now we're getting... No, but this. The evening shadows closed in before long, almost as if they wanted to silence those voices. That is, kind of poetic. You know what I mean? Damn. When that line came up, I was like, that is how you end a chapter in a fucking book. That's how, and then we kept going on for a couple of lines, but I was like, if it had ended there, it would have been like, shit. That is a brilliant fucking line. I don't know. But anyway, I'm pretty sure we are over time now, but I have to edit 52 parts together because this thing sucks. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.